Good morning. Welcome to the pre-market overview, Monday, September 28th, 2020. Hope you guys had a good weekend and the start of the week kicks off well for you. So what we're going to do on today's pre-market overview is go through our newsletter, as always. So our newsletter, if you want to subscribe to get it for yourself, just email us newsletter@tradewithufos.com and we'll put you on that subscription list so that you get the document that I'm about to go through every day. It's obviously updated with the new day's information. So for those that may not know, my name is Becky. My email address there is becky@tradewithufos.com, so you can email me if you need. There's also the support team, weird arrow there, support@tradewithufos.com if you need those guys as well. Either one is fine. So for those joining us from within the Tradewith channel, welcome back. Just a reminder, today being Monday, you have futures at 9 a.m. today and then options at 1 p.m. today in your sessions. Again, just a reminder, Tuesdays and Thursdays are stocks and investing sessions, and we have sharpening over the weekend. So sharpening will be psychology sessions as well as methodology reinforcement sessions. So you have those over the weekend. So the next upcoming class that we have, the futures one has already happened. That's already started. So the next one will be stocks. So ignore that first one for now. I just need to update that. Stocks is the next one, starts October 3rd. So that'll be next weekend. Then we have psychology, then trading plans, and then backtesting. If you want to look at the website, you can see more about what we do. I'll show you how to get onto that in a minute. So I'm just going to put the disclaimers on the screen so you guys can read through that. I won't read it to you. That might take me a while, but of course you are welcome to read through it. Come back and pause the video if you would like to read it. It is important that you guys understand the legalities around it, but outside of what's legal and what needs to be said or what's not, it's good advice in general, to just be aware that of course there is a risk involved when you trade. It's ultimately up to you what money you use, when you trade, what you trade, how much you trade with. That's ultimately your choice. We can help you in terms of educational content, ideas and demonstrations, but none of it is trading advice. You can go to the website www.youcantrade.com and get additional disclosure information on there. Okay, so this is where you can go to learn more about what we do. So youcantrade.com and then just choose the Tradewith channel. You've got a free trial for the channel. So that's the sessions that we do every day. You can schedule a clarification call if you want to talk to somebody before you do that, if you have questions or anything. And you can also browse courses. So the courses are the ones that I just showed you that we do: futures, stocks, psychology, backtesting, and trading plans. If you click on that, you will see each of the courses and you can click on course details to learn more about it. Obviously, more information on there. And again, you can schedule a clarification call before you register as well. Once you click on that, what you need to do is put in your name and email address so that we can send you a link to the call that you're going to have with somebody. You are self-scheduling a call for us to call you back or for us to have an online meeting with you, basically. Choose the date and time that suits you best. And you can put questions in as well if you want us to be more prepared with our answers. Or, of course, you can leave that blank if you want and just chat with us. Once you've clicked request, it will come through and you will see that it's done and you will get a link in your email so that you can click on that and go from there. Okay, so another reminder, we have our You Can Trade app on the App Store. So it's not on anything Android at the moment, but if you have an Apple product and would like to follow us mobily, you can do that on the App Store. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the newsletter for today. So like I said, the newsletter is a document we send out every day. And in that document, we go through 4 of the major markets in the world. We go through the S&P, oil, gold, and the euro. So major markets, lots of orders, lots of volume moves through these markets every day. So even if you don't trade these markets specifically, I'm sure a lot of what you trade will be correlated to it. You'll also notice we go through a daily chart for each of these markets. Again, different things happen on different timeframes, but the daily chart does seem to be, if not the most, one of the most, or if not the most commonly used timeframe out there. Hence why we use the daily chart. Now, for each of these markets, the newsletter goes through various concepts. So we do the pre-market overview to just expand on these concepts a little bit, explain what's behind it in a little bit more depth. So the first thing we need to understand is climate. Climate is basically trend, but more importantly than trend or market environment or market direction is the probabilities associated with that. So what will happen is we will use our Auto Climate app, which you'll see here on the bottom of this chart. I'll show you it per market, but just as an example to explain what the Auto Climate app is, it is basically trading technology, trading software that is analyzing market data for us and telling us through one of 3 things that it can show us what the climate is, what the direction is, and what the probabilities are in terms of, the probabilities of it going in that direction. So we have at the bottom here, we have different colored dots. Ignore the lines for now, just the dots. So the dots could be either a thick blue dot that tells us we're in a confirmed upwards climate, so probabilities to the upside. It could be a thick red dot. That's a confirmed downwards climate, probabilities to the downside. We could have a thin dot of either color. So the color still tells us the direction. Blue is up, red is down. But the thinness of the dot is the Auto Climate app's way of telling us you have a lack of probabilities here, less statistical advantage. On days like that, we tend to do nothing. If we don't have probabilities one side or the other, it would be more a gamble to guess. And again, we keep out of it. So we're going to look at climate per market. So what are the probabilities up or down? Then we want to understand propagating. So propagating tells us how long we can expect it to keep going in that direction for. So on the right-hand side, these numbers here show us what normally happens in these markets. So if we're in a downwards climate, how long does that market usually go down for? If we're in an upwards climate, how long does that market usually go up for? You'll notice that these are all decimal places. I will round them up. So whatever the decimal place is, I'm going to round it up. So effectively add one to each. And that's what normally happens in the markets. On the left-hand side, we will see what is happening right now, how many candles we have already gone in that direction. So from those two numbers, we can get an idea of, do we have probability that that market continues going in that direction? Or have we run out of probabilities of that, and are we more likely to see the market change direction and go the other way? So that's what propagating figures are. We'll go through that per market as well. Then we want to understand nearest UFOs. So UFO stands for unfilled orders. What that means is where we expect there to be buy orders in a market that can push it up, or sell orders in a market that can push it down, and where are they on a chart. So we use our Auto UFO app, again, to analyze market data for us and show us on a chart visually where these stacks of orders are likely to be, where price is likely to turn. If they're buy orders, it shows us as a green UFO. If it's sell orders, it shows us that as a red UFO. So again, we are using, between the climate and the nearest UFOs, we are using technology to analyze market data for us and show us where the probabilities are to make it easier for us to make a decision. Just because something is probable does not mean it's definite. So just because something has probabilities on its side, it doesn't mean that we just go for it straight away. There might be other variables we look at, and we definitely manage our risk every single time. Now, for the markets individually as well, I'll go through them one by one. We're also going to understand volatility. So volatility just means how fast we can expect markets to move, or how far we would expect them to move within given periods of time. So we look at current implied volatility. That tells us in percentages what we can expect up or down in 1 year. So as a percentage of its current value, what's the expected movement up or down in a year? From that, we can then reverse engineer it and see what we expect up or down in terms of movement in 1 day, in 1 week, and in 1 month. So we can go through each of those periods of time and understand how far we would expect price to move. We then have our climate and propagating to tell us in which direction that move is more likely to happen. And then the end of the propagating / the nearest UFOs give us an idea of where price might stop going in a particular direction and go the other way. So we're going to go through this each market one by one, and then we'll come down and look at news. So we're looking at the S&P at the moment here on the left-hand side. I'm just going to move price here, make it a bit easier for us to see. Okay, so starting with the S&P, we have a thick red dot, confirmed downwards climate, probabilities to the downside. Usually, the S&P would go down for 4 candles on a daily chart, and we're on candle number 7, meaning we have, of course, surpassed what is normal in these markets, what is more likely to happen in these markets, meaning we lack probabilities of a continuous move down. Now, we have a confirmed downwards climate, so we have probabilities to the downside on the climate itself, but we lack statistical advantage of it continuing down there. So we don't have as much probabilities as we would like. Now, when it comes to nearest UFOs, we have 2 stacks of sell orders above us. We did have 3, meaning one of them has been taken out, which is another sort of sign to the upside, I guess. So the closest stack of sell orders that we have here is 3346.86 to 3375.17. We have a new stack of buy orders just below us, 3246.59 to 3209.45. So overall with the S&P, yes, we have a confirmed downwards climate, but we lack probability for it continuing. We have sell orders taken out and new buy orders coming in. So kind of conflicting information here, conflicting forces. Be interesting to see which one wins, whether or not the climate takes over and continues to push price down through the buy orders, or whether or not the fact that we've gone past what's normal to the downside and new buy orders has come in and started to change the direction. So we'll see what happens there. No real clear direction either way at the moment. So when it comes to volatility with the S&P, we expect a movement up or down in 1 year of 26.70%, which means in a day, up or down of 0.55 points, in a week, up or down of 1.22 points, and in a month, up or down of 2.54 points. So that is the S&P. Let's have a look at the next market, which is oil. At CL, continuous futures contract there for oil. Here we go. Once again, just moving price a little bit, make it a little bit easier for us to see. Okay, so with oil, we have an unconfirmed upwards climate. We have a thin blue dot. So it's blue, which tells us it's upwards, but it's thin, which tells us that it's unconfirmed. Lack of probabilities, lack of statistical advantage. Again, we keep out of markets like that. Now, usually oil would go up for 7 candles and we're on candle number 3, but bear in mind it's an unconfirmed candle, you know, it's less probability there. So we do have probability of a continuous move to the upside, but we do lack probability when it comes to the climate itself. When it comes to UFOs, we have our closest stack of buy orders 38.05 to 36.92 and closest stack of sell orders 42.86 to 44.03. And we are kind of in the middle there between these stacks of orders. Not necessarily close enough to either one to hit today, not to say it won't, but it's less likely to happen. And again, no real clear direction when it comes to the climate either. So again, with oil, nothing really clear one way or the other, would tend to keep away. So we would expect volatility in oil up or down in 1 year of 41.41%, which means in a day, up or down of 1.06 points, in a week, up or down of 2.32 points, and in a month, up or down of 4.84 points. Okay, so that is oil. Let's look at the next market, which is gold at GC. Okay, so with gold here, we have a thick red dot, confirmed downwards climate, probability to the downside. However, usually gold would go down for 3 candles, and we're on candle number 5. So once again, we have gone past what is usual in this market, what usually happens, which means we lack statistical advantage for it continuing to the downside. Saying that as well, we also have a stack of buy orders here, 1836.7 to 1825.9, which it looks like price is kind of on its way to. If we were to hit that stack of orders, we would anticipate price moving back upwards again. So I wouldn't be surprised if the climate were to change in the next day or so, if we do hit that stack of buy orders. But at the moment, again, hard to say. Closest stack of sell orders, 1907.6 to 1925.5. So again, with gold, we do have overall probabilities to the downside when it comes to the climate, but we've gone past what's usual on that. So lack of statistical advantage that it continues. And by the looks of it, coming close into a stack of buy orders, which have the potential to push price back up. So again, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I personally won't be getting involved. Okay, so in terms of volatility, we expect movement up or down in 1 year on gold of 22.09%. In 1 day, that would mean up or down of 25.9 points. In a week, up or down of 57 points. And in a month, up or down of 118.7 points. Right, so let's look at the last market, which would be the Euro US dollar. That is the Euro versus the US dollar spot Forex currency pair. Now I'm just going to squidge price together so that we can see all these orders. Here we go. So once again, thick red dot, confirmed downwards climate, probability to the downside. Again, usually the euro would go down for 4 candles and we're on candle number 5. So just gone past what is usual in terms of movement to the downside, and we've just hit this stack of buy orders, and by the look of it, it's pushing price back up again. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that climate change. This top stack of buy orders is 1.1597 to 1.1507. Just rounded that where it needs to be to the pip. And as you'll notice, we have a whole bunch of buy orders beneath us here, loads and loads, one on top of the other. When it comes to sell orders, we have this one here, which is 1.1772 to 1.1900 even. So again, with the euro, like with a lot of these markets, we have indecision. The only one that was within its propagating figures was oil, but that had an unconfirmed climate. So we don't have strong probabilities either way on any of these markets. And again, here with the euro, we have a confirmed downwards climate, but We've gone past what's normal for moving down, and we've hit buy orders, which should push price back upwards and look like they already are at the moment. So again, lack of clear direction one way or the other. So it looks like for today, again, lack of decisions, lack of probabilities one way or the other. As traders, sometimes the better thing to do is to not trade. Better to not trade and save our money than it is to place trades for the sake of placing trades that don't have probability stacked on their side. So when it comes to volatility for the euro, we would expect in a year a movement up or down of 7.60%. In 1 day, that would mean up or down of 56 pips. In a week, up or down of 123 pips. And in a month, up or down of 256 pips. Okay, so bear in mind again that the volatility figures give us an idea of what we can expect in terms of movement up or down within these given periods of time. The climate in propagating will tell us in which direction we're likely to see that happen and for how long. And then the nearest UFOs show us where price could hit and turn direction, could change and go the other way. Again, for today's market, a bit of indecision for all of our markets here, nothing clear cut one way or the other. Maybe by tomorrow, these climates will have figured out what they're doing. Potentially we might see changes of climate in some of these markets as well, and we'll have a bit more of a clearer direction by tomorrow. We will see. So just to come on now to look at news. So what we do is we go to fxstreet.com/economic-calendar. We search for high impact news and US markets. So of course you can go to that link and you can change the filters there if you want to look at things outside of that criteria. Now what this means, what we now see from that, is that we have nothing today in terms of high impact news. The first bit of high impact news that we have will be tomorrow, and that will be a presidential debate. So potentially a lot of volatility there will come in off of that. Now, normally, if we have news that comes out that can be quantified into a number, it will fill in this actual column. If not, then there will be a speech or a report that we can read that, again, might not be something that can be put into numbers, but that we can click on a link and read it. So again, for now, nothing today to be aware of in terms of expected high volatility news, but for the rest of the week, looks like we have something every day. Okay, so reminder for you guys that are within the Tradictive channel already that you have your futures and options sessions today. If you'd like to join us and join the sessions that we do every day, so futures and options on Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays, stocks and investing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, sharpening sessions over the weekend, which includes psychology and methodology reinforcement. You can join us at tradictive.com/youcantrade. If you have any questions on it, you can obviously email us, but you do have a free 14-day trial. So you can access us for a couple of weeks, see if it makes sense first, and then go from there. If it doesn't, just cancel the subscription. If it does, then at least you've had a good couple of weeks to really try us out, watch the recordings, and really know if what we do works for you. In terms of classes, the next upcoming class that we have is the stocks class. So if you go to tradictive.com/stocks live, you can learn a bit more about how we do that class, what's in it, what the modules are and all those kind of things, how we're using this methodology on stocks. Again, you can register for any course and get an additional course for free. So it is a buy one, get one free situation. So if you go to the website, see what we do, see how you can put it together in such a way where you can make the most out of that deal. Again, if you have questions, not just on subscriptions or courses, of course, if you have questions on technology or trading in general, we're happy to help. Just email us support@tradictive.com. Otherwise, we'll see you in the sessions later on today, and I'll be back tomorrow morning to kick off the overview for tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have a little bit more decision tomorrow morning in these markets. We will see. Hope the markets treat you well today, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.